Let me see if this one's fixed. It's fixed! Yay! Okay. Let me take care of some housekeeping real quick. Welcome to anybody. Okay, that's gone. Now I need to tell Twitter real quick that the link that they're clicking on is defunct. There we go. Turn this up just a little bit. Hi. Hi, you guys. How goes it? Bonjour, Ani. I'm hoping that the image is clear for you guys, because from what I see on my laptop, it's not looking very clear. I don't know what that issue is. No idea how to fix that. But as you can see, I have already started a project here. I'm taking a break from my big one, the big project that I've been working on. These actually go with another project that I am working on and mostly finished. So these are just like the finishing touches, and there's 2 of them that I gotta do. So I just thought I would hop on. I said I would. A little cloudy. I don't understand what Enable flash. I don't think that does anything. No, it doesn't. I don't know how to fix that. I really have no idea. Shit. YouTube is just giving me hell today. It might have something to do with Mercury being in retrograde. And I don't want to stop and restart the live again. It doesn't look like it changed. Maybe if I mess with this. Maybe it has something to do with my internet. I don't know. But I guess I'm just gonna get started then. So I am working with these tiny, I think these are size 13. Let me see. I always keep a little, yeah. Size 13, dark brown. And then I don't know what size these gold are. These don't seem to be super high quality, like most of the beads that I have. I think these might have been bought at like a craft store or something. And I just know this because they're really irregular with how thick they are. But I like them. The irregularities have really helped me fill this up nicely. So yeah, these were given to me. That's why I don't know where they came from. And then in the center, I'm working with these gunmetal AB beads. So I know for sure these are size 11. These golder ones seem a little bigger. They might be like size 10 or something. But yeah, I'm done with the gunmetal. I'm just working with the brown and the gold now until I move on to the second piece anyways. The middle is this rose gold I can't ever say this word, Swarovski crystals. So yeah, I'm actually trying to replicate a very specific item, and I wish I could tell you what that is. If you recognize it, just, I guess, give me a thumbs up or something, but don't say what it is because I don't want it to be given away. You'll see these in upcoming content though. I'm actually working on a video right now. I started the editing process already. I just got to get these finished so that I can finish filming for the video and put it out. So these size 13 beads are just tiny though. I don't know if you've ever worked with any beads this little. Let me see if I can compare it to. No, a little too cloudy to see it. Oh well. So yeah, that's what I got. I don't really have any topics planned for today. I just promised that I would go live this week. And so here I am. Figured you might want to listen to some music with me, have a chat, while I try and keep my work in frame. Good evening, Marcy. Okay, I had to concentrate there for a second. So if you're interested, I am doing 2 needle beading. That's what I am best at. But if you're better at 1 needle beading, then you are at 2 needle beading by all means. There's no best way to do it for everybody. So 1, 2, 3. This music is weird. I might have to change it. Wow, wow, wow. So, how's everybody's weather doing? About a week ago, my area got absolutely dumped on. It was like, I think like 10 to 12 inches, maybe even more actually, that we got in just overnight and some of the day. And my snowblower that I have it needs some work right now, and I don't know how to do that work. So I've just been shoveling my driveway lately. And this day, I waited longer than I should have. I should have gone out there and shoveled like in the morning and then went back out later in the day. Because it's easier to just do it twice with shallow snow than it is to deal with insane amounts of snow, right? But I didn't, and I get out there and like 2 hours later I'm only halfway through, and if you don't know, I cracked my rib. It's slightly broken. and I was in a lot of pain, and it was starting to get dark out, and I was like really kicking myself. And my neighbor who lives across the street, he's like out taking his trash out, like setting it out at the end of his driveway. Keep in mind, I don't live on the res. I live in a predominantly white neighborhood that are like all rich people. We're like the only poor people that live here. So everybody has like either like trucks with plows on them, or they have these giant Kubotas, or they pay somebody to take care of that shit for them. And of course, I don't have access to that stuff. So he's out there taking his trash out, and we wave at each other, say hello. And he must have seen me struggling or something and took pity on me. And he fires up his snowblower, which is like one of those snowblowers that has kind of a plastic shield around you to keep the wind off of you. And he comes on over, and he completely just blows through the other half of my driveway within just a few minutes, and it probably would have taken me another 2 hours to complete. So I was really thankful. I told him, thank you, oh my god, so much. You have no idea how much you've helped me. I actually have a cracked rib and was experiencing a lot of pain, which was the truth. I really was. And he's like, oh my goodness, no problem. I've had a cracked rib before too. I got it from playing hockey. What'd you do? So if you are not aware, just kind of like backtrack this story. I made a TikTok not too long ago, like right before Christmas. You know how you hear a sound on TikTok and you're just like, I know what will go great with this sound. That's what happened. I heard a sound on TikTok and I was like, I know what will go great with this. I'm going to go jump in the snowbank after I shovel my driveway. It was another one of those days where the driveway just had a ton of snow to take care of, right? So I fluff a bunch of snow in this one spot. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be nice and fluffy. I'm going to jump into the snowbank. Meanwhile, I had not accounted for the fact that we had kind of like a little heat wave, a wintertime heat wave, the week before that. So a lot of the snowbank that was there previously had melted into ice. So all that fluffy snow I had shoveled onto there from the driveway, my body instantly went straight through it, and I crashed into the ice underneath. And the way that I hit it, I cracked my rib, but I didn't notice that it was cracked right away. I was just kind of in like a moderate pain. Like, you know how they ask you that, can you rate on a scale of whatever to 10 how much pain you're experiencing right now? I would say it was probably at like a 2. So it was like nothing until a few days after I'm at work, and I have an office job, by the way, so I'm like chilling at my desk, and I let out a big stretch, and I just hear a loud pop, and I feel the pop in my rib. Yes, organic, did it for the TikTok. I feel the pop in my rib, and it was such a nasty pop that, yeah, I literally heard it as well. And I instantly just started feeling really like woozy. I was having a hard time breathing. And I don't know if you've ever experienced the feeling of you're going to pass out. It's not a great feeling. I've actually passed out a few times in my day. And I felt like I was going to pass out. And so... Oh, I hate saying where I work. I work I work where doctors are, okay? And so I waddle back to their offices. So I have immediate access to healthcare, right? And I waddle back there, and I'm like, I explain to them, I just stretched. I think something's wrong with my rib. I almost passed out right at my desk. and they're like, you look ghostly white. And so, yeah. Turns out I cracked my rib, and I tell my neighbor who was graceful enough to help me get out of my driveway. He snowblowed my driveway. We were standing right in front of that snowbank, and I was like, oh, I broke my rib by jumping into that snowbank right there. And he just laughed at me, and he didn't do this, but I just pictured him being like, you know what? Just because that's how you broke your rib, I take back this good deed, and you owe me $50 now. So yeah. I did not tell him that it was for TikTok either, nor did I tell anybody. I didn't tell the doctors. I didn't tell, like, my mom, because obviously my mom knows I broke my rib. And I told her that I jumped into a snowbank, but I didn't tell her that it was recorded and on TikTok. You know why? Because I don't want my mom knowing my TikTok. Make a lot of 18 plus content on there. I don't want to keep having to say sorry, Mom. So yeah, I think it's time for me to see if I have any mechanic in me and fix the damn snowblower. Good evening, Pink. How are you? Bonsoir. Hopefully the music is loud enough that you can hear it. If you want me to turn it up, I can. Let's see what else is new. I found a new YouTube channel that I'm like low-key in love with. What are they called? Oh, what are they called? Tiptoe. Let me see if I can look them up. Tiptoe something. Tiptoe the Tank. So if you're into video games, look up Tiptoe the Tank. Basically what they do is they tell the lore of different video games. And I just love it so much because it's like listening to an audiobook, but obviously not for novels, but it's for video games. But it's so nice to be able to soak up a story in a half an hour to an hour, depending on the video game. Some of them take like multiple parts. So, but I mean, it's still nice. So far, I've listened to Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and I've also listened to Majora's Mask. I've listened to Resident Evil up until she gets to like the lore of Biohazard, because I'm still finishing that game. And I kind of know what happens because I've seen gameplay of Biohazard on Twitch. So it's not like I'm in like dire want of not seeing any spoilers, but I still just want all the details I can have from the actual gameplay. But yeah, so I've watched that. She also has BioShock on there, which is my favorite game in the whole world. And I'm really interested in seeing her Visage videos. I was really excited when I seen that on her channel. So that's what's new for me YouTube wise. I don't really consume a lot of YouTube content these days. Since like 2016, 2017, around there, YouTube has been like the only thing that I really watched. Occasionally I would turn on Netflix or Hulu or something. But most of my days for all of these years, they would be spent consuming YouTube content. But lately not so much. I've been rewatching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's an awful but good show. You know what show I was really excited to watch, but ended up I still haven't turned it on, is Dexter. Because I watched Dexter a long time ago, years ago. I don't think it was on air anymore when I did watch it. I'm pretty sure I watched all of it through. But it was still several years ago that I watched it. So earlier in 2021, when I heard that Dexter was having an additional season added to it, I was so excited. It's like, I cannot wait. And I'm talking like June or something I heard about it. So I had been gassed up since summertime about Dexter. And the series, or the season, I mean, came out in November, by the way. And I still haven't turned a single episode on. But I'm pretty sure it's just based in a kind of like present time, like where Dexter is now kind of deal. All right, we completed a petal. I was really back and forth on how to do this flower too. I could have sworn I had size 13 black beads, but I could not locate them for the frickin' life of me. So I ended up settling on these dark brown ones. And then I had intended on, I wanted to do the flower in all one shade, but I didn't think I had enough of these gold beads to do 2 of these. So I figured I would do the gunmetal shade, but you kind of lose a lot of the detail because the gunmetal kind of blends in with the brown. And I don't know if having black beads instead of brown would have helped any. So I was unsure whether I wanted to do the whole thing in gunmetal because I didn't want it to be a big blob. And so I started doing the gold, and I was like, do I need to take this gunmetal out and do the whole thing gold? Well, I'm going to see first how these petals turn out, and if I like them, then I'll take it out. And if I don't like them, you know, then I'll move on, whatever. But as I got going, I'm like, I kind of like this two-tone. Yeah. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the gunmetal is raised beadwork too. No, you can't tell. Yeah, it's my first time ever doing raised beadwork. I probably didn't do it right, but it's good enough. Where's my needle? Here it is. You guys are not chatty today. I think the first time I went live, I couldn't keep up with the comments. It's okay though. I will chat your ear off. I will find something to talk about. You thought I meant for it to look like that? Like not very defined in the middle? Is that what you mean? Because I wanted more definition there, but you know, it is what it is. Thank you. The other thing is, these are meant to be brooches. And I figured I could, since I'm not really much of a brooch wearer, I figured I would make them, like I would put some earring hooks on them too. Like put a brooch clip on the back of them and also an earring hook. It's like they're two in one. They're both two furs, you know? But I think I might have fudged up when I was sizing it. Because they're kind of giant. Like, I don't know if I'm that native girl that wears the giant earrings. Maybe I am. Who knows? Oh, yeah, the colors. No, this was me testing things out, thinking I'm gonna have to rip something out, and I ended up liking it more. So this kind of happened by chance. Chance and indecision. And you know me, still beating out of children's dishware. I don't know if you're interested in the method that I'm using for filling in these petals. Normally what I do is I completely outline something and then I fill it in. But I just feel like with how sort of irregular these gold beads are, it's actually better for me to just outline the top and then fill it in as I go with this line there. It's kind of a nice way to reduce gapping. Come on, there you are. So yeah, these gold beads, I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they came from somebody, like a mutual on Twitter, who mailed them to me. I'm pretty sure. If not, I'm just gonna tell the story anyway. In a second. Have you Have you ever tried one bead fill method, using one bead randomly stitched onto fill? Oh, okay. So do you mean like you attach one bead at a time and then all the beads are kind of like in different directions? No, I haven't done that. Does sound interesting though. Beading already requires quite a bit of patience. So I can imagine the type of patience that needs. But yeah, so where these gold beads came from. Was it last year? No, it was in 2020. I had a good collection of beads. Like, I don't have an amazing collection, but it's pretty decent. And at that time, I didn't have all my beads in these little baggies that I now have them in. I had some of them in these little, they were probably like 2 inches tall, these little plastic canisters that had twist tops on them, and all of these canisters sat in an additional rectangular shaped container so that you could keep all your canisters together, you know. And I don't remember where I had them, but my, how old was she at the time? I think she was like 3, like almost 4. Right here on this very spot, she took that container, opened up all the canisters, and dumped all the beads into that container, essentially making bead soup. It was probably like $50 worth of beads, if not more, that she had just completely mixed together. So I went through a lot of emotions at that time. And it ended up kind of turning into a teaching moment for me as well, because to be honest, I wanted to fucking explode. I wanted to be like, why did you do that? But she's 3 years old, so geez, at that time she probably didn't even remember that she freaking did it, because I had discovered it after the fact. I didn't catch her in the act. So I just like cried on the floor and had a freaking breakdown. And then once I calmed down, I called her in here and I showed her, the bead soup, and I asked her why she did that, and she told me that she thought I would like it. So I felt really bad. But I ended up posting to Twitter that I was going to give away this bead soup. You just had to pay shipping. And shoot, what do I do here? I was not about to go through and separate the beads. Absolutely the F not. We're talking $50 worth of beads. A singular color that I had was probably like anywhere from $3 to $4. So I had a lot of different colors, and some of them were different sizes too. It would have been an absolute nightmare. So I packaged them up into little baggies of bead soup, and I posted to Twitter, giving away bead soup. If you want to pay shipping, I'll send it to you. So I had all the slots were filled and then some. A lot of people wanted bead soup. And one of the people that took the bead soup ended up mailing me back a nice little collection of baggies of beads. So yeah, these gold beads were in there. Hey Oliver. Yeah, all different directions. It makes a different kind of texture. Definitely not quite as fast as 2-needle method. Yeah. I can imagine it taking a while. But it's, oh, what do you call it? It's like an artistic decision, you know? Expensive bead soup. Absolutely, it was. And it felt very tragic. Maybe I was being a drama queen. I don't know. But it was pretty much my entire collection of beads, too, so. But I also had somebody who, I don't know how to refer to them because they're not really like a friend. I met them through YouTube. They were like a viewer of YouTubers that I'm friends with. And so I came into contact with them through these YouTuber friends of mine having group chats for like fans and stuff. And I was in the group chats and they joined and we became like mutuals on Twitter and stuff. But I can't remember the last time I talked to them, honestly. But they seen my tweet and they sent me $50 so that I could buy new beads. And that was just so freaking sweet of them. I actually started to draft something up too to bead with that bead soup, but I never did get onto it. I still have the bead soup because I kept some for myself, honestly. I tried doing like a hashtag thing, like whatever you make with my bead soup, show me it, but nobody ended up showing me anything, so. But it's fine. It's fine. People still got free bead soup, and that's what matters. I got rid of it. I probably would have reacted similarly. My nephew used to dump my beads when he was around 2. After it happened more than once, I got a sticky bead mat. Oh my god, that happened to you more than once? Oh, that sounds like a nightmare. I should say, too, that, like, I don't have anyone local that sells beads unless I were to go. Well, for one, I can go to Canada, I guess. I live in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, which borders Sault Ste. Marie, Canada, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. And they have a bead store there, but it's just kind of it's a headache going over to Canada nowadays. Back then, it wasn't so bad. But, yeah, so I don't ever go there. But unless I go to a powwow, which those aren't happening either, I order online from Powwow Supply, which I'm not like super close friends, but I consider myself friends with the owner now. I wasn't always friends with her. I bought from her actually before I got to know her a little more. She's actually really good friends with somebody that I'm also really good friends with, so we were introduced more closely from that person. But yeah, their store is in Lower Michigan, so if I were to drive to where they are, it would take me like 3.5 hours to get there. But essentially what I'm trying to say is my access to beads also requires like a shipping cost. So I'm not just buying a $4 hank of beads. I also gotta pay money for that shipping, you know? And waiting and not being able to really see them in person before purchasing. So that was part of the ordeal as well, is my access to beads isn't great. There's this really great account on Instagram, and sadly, I don't remember what their account name is. And I would look it up, but I'm actually streaming on my phone. So I can't access my Instagram app right now. But they were introduced to me by an Instagram mutual that I have, because I seen this mutual beading a certain way and I was like, holy crap, that is amazing. That's the greatest tip ever. And they're like, oh yeah, I learned it from this account. And basically they had the same kind of loom, but it was on I don't know exactly how the thing was shaped. It might have just been like an L-shaped wooden platform or something. But basically, it was a platform that like held your beading loom up so that you didn't have to hold it. All you had to do was mess with the strings. And I'm like, that's amazing. I think it's found in the quilting section. I'll have to go back and see what that person said. I haven't looked for the product yet, but I need it, because that would be really nice. Just my method for dealing with it in the meantime is I take the string, I wrap it around my pointer finger twice, and then kind of use my thumb to hold it taut, and then I hold the loom between my two fingers. So it'd be nice to just deal with the string and not have to hold the loom, because after a while of beading, when you're on a deadline or trying to get this project freaking done, your hands can cramp pretty badly. But yeah, they have a lot of great tips, and I am so sad that I don't remember their handle right now. They also, this was another thing that I really liked, which I couldn't do here because I don't have these tacks. Those types of, I think they're usually used for like folders. They're like office tacks. They're round in shape at the head, and then they have the two things that you eventually like fold down, if that makes sense. So what she did is she laid your beading material onto the loom. She separated the loom a little bit so that those tack handles could fit through, and then she like poked straight through the beading material into the loom, and it held it nice and flat without having to like tuck it in to the loom. Antelope Woman Designs. I think that might be it. Antelope Woman Designs. I think that might be it. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure because I just feel like I need to see it to confirm, but yeah, brass fasteners. I think you find them in like the office supply section. But I need to try that. I thought about it for the big project that I'm working on, the Eagle staff, but I just realized that those stems on the brass fasteners, those stems, they're pretty thick, so I'm assuming that whatever material you stab them through, they're going to leave a pretty sizable hole. So you need to do it on a type of project like this where you're going to cut that excess off anyway. And on the Eagle staff, that's not what's happening. where I would need to poke the tabs through would not be cut off. So, like, these beads, I swear, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but I just want to show you. How varied in width they are. If you can even see. But it's nice because it helps me fill in the spaces nicely. I don't even remember which mutual I seen in the first place. God, I'm so bad at that. I'm just like, oh yeah, some person on the internet. Especially lately, because I feel like, not that the community itself has grown since I've found the like online native spaces, but I feel like the amount of people that I've been introduced to or like come across or whatever, I feel like that number has grown substantially, and it's kind of causing brain fog for me when it comes to, I guess, really soaking in the names of people. Super small and extra thick with 3 C's. Exactly. I might have talked about this on the last live, actually, about different beads, but it was the same subject anyway, about the different like sizes of, not sizes, but when there are irregularities in how thick the beads are. A lot of people will, or not a lot of people, let's say just like the general consensus is that if they are irregular, then they're like lower quality, and if they are super uniform and regular, then they are high quality beads. And delicas are a good example of that, because delicas are super uniform, but I actually kind of prefer when there are irregularities because it makes it really nice for filling in spaces with fewer gaps. You know, like 3 thinner beads might be better for filling a space than 2 thick beads. And I stand by that opinion. Unless they are super, super duper irregular, then that just pisses me off. But these aren't so bad. Nope, I need to do another sideways one. This needle that I'm using a size 10 needle for tacking down, but for stringing beads I'm using a 13 needle, and I just, every time I have to drive it through, I feel like I'm gonna break it. And I really don't want to do that because I need to buy more needles. And my girl at Powwow Supply is closed until the end of January. She's taking a break. There we go, that's perfect. So I have only recently picked beading back up. Like the end of November, beginning of December. And I haven't finished a single project since then. Mostly because most of the beading that I've been doing has been on that eagle staff. But even then, movement was really slow. So these will be the first thing that I finish in like a year. I have been beading for like most of 2021. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna do it that way. So I hope you guys like cosplay. Here's the thing. I've only been like mildly interested in cosplay, but I have always loved Halloween. Absolutely loved it. And I've made some bomb ass costumes in my day. Cosplay quality costumes for Halloween. And I think what I realized, like, obviously I've known that cosplay is a thing. I'm not under a rock. But I guess I just thought like it wasn't for me, I suppose. Until sometime in 2020, me and those same YouTube friends I was just talking about a little bit ago, we decided that it would be really fun to like get together and cosplay together as something and put together a video about it. And so we settled on the Powerpuff Girls. And of course I had to be Buttercup. She's always been my Powerpuff Girl. And I realized that I really like to dress up as characters that I really like. And I shouldn't have to wait until Halloween to do that. So, it was right after this Halloween. I was Hela from like Thor Ragnarok, you know, that Hela. And it was a really bomb costume. It wasn't like cosplay quality, you know, where I like get a jumpsuit and all that. All I did was I got a pair of leggings and a turtleneck that matched. It was like a set. I made sure it was a set because black shades are not always the same. And then I got fabric paint, green fabric paint, and I just painted all the lines that make her outfit iconic. And I won the costume contest by popular vote. The crowd voted for me. So, I was, of course, hanging out with friends and stuff, and later in the night, they got a better look at my outfit, and one of them was like, holy crap, that's a two-piece? I thought you were wearing, like, an actual jumpsuit. I was like, no, I made this from leggings and a turtleneck, and they were so impressed. And I was like, why don't I do this more often? So, yeah. If you enjoy cosplay, I'm going to be trying to do some cosplay content on here as well. I'm working on another clasp purse with bead details. This one will hopefully look like those sweetheart candies for Valentine's Day. Also, cosplay as boss. That purse was really cute too. Hey, David. I had a pretty decent holiday. It was really chill. It would have been better, however, if I didn't break my rib. When I did the whole rib thing, it was like a few days before Christmas. So I was really in the throes of it on Christmas. which I'm pretty sure I went live on here on Christmas Eve, and I was like, I think I was taking a really, I don't mean a really good painkiller as in like it made me high or like feel funny or anything. I mean a good painkiller as in it worked to help me deal with the pain and made me limber enough to be able to bead a broken rib. Yeah. I am speaking rather generally though. It's a cracked rib. There's just a crack in it. So it's not super broken. And I'm actually doing very well now. So most of the bad has gone. Just gonna empty some more of these gold so I can get some more variations out here of size. That was a really long one. I don't really like these little, or these really long ones though. I feel like they end up making the beadwork look funky. Yeah, I guess they would technically kind of speed up the project just a little bit, but at the cost of your beadwork, I guess. I'm kind of wondering if these are like a replica of an actual item. Well, not an actual item. It's like a character, like a drawing or an animation or whatever. I'm kind of wondering if anybody's going to ever recognize them. Be like, oh my god, those are the brooches from so-and-so? Yes, they are. Because they're kind of big for earrings, but I think I'm still going to put earring hooks on them. Like, why not? I will be that meme of the native lady with the giant earrings. Have you ever peyote stitched? Absolutely. I love peyote stitch. What have I made? I like to peyote stitch the ropes for medallions. Every medallion that I've made, well, no, actually there's just one that I've made that wasn't peyote stitched. But most of the medallions that I've made, the rope was peyote stitched. And anybody that I've showed them to, they're like, oh my god, your patience. I would have either strung some beads on there or I would have wrapped stitch. And I'm like, no, I peyote stitch, okay? That's what I do. But yeah, to answer your question, I have. Even count, odd count, or 3 drop. I don't know what that means, Momo. I'm gonna be honest with you. The thing about peyote stitch is, with how much I love it, I always really struggle getting it going. I think I start with an even number. So like, if my pattern has like 10 beads in it or whatever, I'll start with 20. But I don't know what 3 drop is. Is 3 drop like these earrings? That's really beautiful. Thank you. You learned from YouTube. Oh, yes, YouTube is a great resource. As you Is that how you found me? Were you looking for things? It's kind of funky how I ended up on YouTube, honestly. My very first videos have nothing to do with what I do now. Okay, so this petal kind of curves in. So I'll probably go, it's 9:04 my time, so I'll probably go to like 9:30 and then hop off. Okay, let's see. Even count means you start with a factor of 2, like 6, 8, or 10, and you step up after every row. Odd count is an odd number. Three drop, you work with 3 beads at a time. I believe you start with 12 at the least. 3 beads at a time? Huh. That's intriguing. That's gotta be quicker than just adding 1 bead at a time, eh? I found you when I was looking at fans. Yes! Because I had all these eagle feathers and I felt like I had outgrown my hawktail fan, so I wanted to make an eagle feather fan. But I didn't know anybody who made fans, so I was like, I gotta do this on my own. I also cannot afford to hire somebody. It's not that people are expensive, it's hard work, they deserve money. I cannot afford to pay somebody to do it. And at the same time, I'm also very bullheaded about my crafts. I not only do I bead, but I sew. I made my son's porky roach. I made that eagle fan. I crochet. I've done woodwork. I've done all kinds of stuff. I'm telling you. So I was like, I got this. And also, not only do I got this, but I'm gonna film a video and show everybody me semi getting this. So yeah, I'm glad you seen the fan video. I went through all of that just to have a dream of me fancy shawling, so I have to primarily fancy dance now. Look up 3-drop hoard. Look up 3-drop gourd stitch. I cannot. You can't type and I can't speak. I'm kidding, by the way. That was in jest. Look up 3-drop gourd stitch on YouTube. Gourd is Gourd for anybody who's watching the playback. I've tried even an odd count, but haven't attempted 3-drop yet. I'll have to look it up and check it out. It's kind of looking like I'm gonna have to do a big line of sideways beads, which I really hate. I can't type facts, but neither can I. I call myself the queen of typos for a reason. For a long time, I had the autocorrect off on my phone because, I mean, for a little context, I was really late to the iPhone game. Like, people were running around with iPhones, and I still had a BlackBerry and, like, one of those slider phones, so I was very technologically illiterate for a while. So when I did finally hop on the iPhone game, the autocorrect angered me so badly. So for the longest time, I didn't have it on, and I think in just the last few years, I've turned it back on, and autocorrect is wild, let me tell you. I'm saying that because of the fact that I cannot type, which is why I turned it back on. I'm like, I'm so tired of these typos, I need the help of autocorrect. But it's like autocorrect is just used to me being a fuck up that it assumes that I'm being a fuck up when I'm not. And it completely changes what I'm saying. Like, I think what's coming to the top of my head right now is, I think it was yesterday, my friend sent me a TikTok that she made where she was like trying on different voices on TikTok. It's a very particular sound. If you're on TikTok, I'm sure you've heard it. But Cardi B is on there. And when she did the Cardi B voice, it made me laugh. And so I typed in like, oh, Cardi's voice on you, ha ha ha. And Siri just like corrected it to cargo. And I just thought it was the most hilarious thing ever. I realize me telling this story right now, it sounds very anticlimactic and unfunny. But let me tell you, at the time, I thought that shit was funny. Autocorrect be putting words in my mouth that I didn't even think. I even added Ojibwe and Resi words, and autocorrect still changes my words. Autocorrect does recognize a few Ojibwe words for me. Although it does get a little annoying every time I want to say Anishinaabe. Every time it assumes I want to say Anishinaabe. And I'm like, I don't want to ducking say that. Oops, I forgot to finish this little point. That's fine. I feel like I'm listening to Snoop Dogg right now. This royalty-free music I got going. The past few lives, I had YouTube going, and then I also had TikTok going. So I had YouTube streaming on my laptop, and I had TikTok streaming on my phone. And I decided I didn't want to do that today because I wanted to give you guys on YouTube this view, and I wouldn't be able to do that with my laptop. So I forget why I even brought that up. I think it had to do with music. Because when I stream on TikTok, which is not often, let me tell ya, I like to play music on there from my Spotify. A funny one for me is when I start to type Wisconsin, it sometimes changes it to Wiesenen. I don't know what Wiesenen means. I'm interested in what Wiesenen means. There is, you know how Instagram I gotta get a new needle threaded. But you know how Instagram has a ton of those like horoscope pages or like tarot pages or whatever? My friend, he always sends me Instagram posts from this one page, and it's called Moon Omens. MOONOMENS. Pretty straightforward, right? Moon Omens. But for some reason, every single time I see it, I read it as Menomens, like wild rice. I'm like, I don't know. It's just a trip. Like, Menomens. It means Yes. That makes sense. I recognize it now. That's my level of Ojibwe right there. A few numbers, a few animals. I can introduce myself, but I don't recognize a lot of stuff until I hear the English version. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I really need to get back on the language learning train. I fell off of it. My plan was, because I don't live on the res right now, I moved off the res in 2012, which was, oh my god, 10 years ago. I've been living off the res for a decade? Almost? Y'all, that's bonkers to me. I don't feel like it's been that long. And my house isn't on the res. That's it. My job is on the res. All of my family is on the res. Like, I spend 90% of the people I know and hang out with and the things that I do is always on the res. And yes, I make the drive. I make the 20-minute drive all the time to the res. My whole life is there. Maybe that's why I'm kind of flabbergasted that I haven't technically been a reser by home for a decade now. Why did I even bring that up? I was in such shock that I forgot what I was even talking about. Oh, I brought that up because I've been thinking about moving back because that's where our tribal college is, and then I can take language class. Any advice for someone that wants to start jingle dress dancing? Also, your tutorials saved my life. Thank you. I'm so happy that they're helping you. I guess it depends on what area of advice that you're looking for. Like, are you looking for dress construction? Are you looking for what type of pieces, like accessories you need with it? Are you looking for the types of jingle dress dancing, like contemporary versus traditional? Or are you looking for dance moves? When it comes to like the spiritual side of things, I don't typically like to talk about that stuff online. And that's just from like strict orders. It's not that I don't trust you or anybody that watches my channel. It's just like strict orders from elders in my community to keep things like that offline. Print out labels and label things around your house in Ojibwe. It really helps. I should do that. I did do that in like 2013 when I was learning French. Unfortunately, I lost some of that. A lot of that, I mean. And French is a much easier language to speak than Anishinaabe. One time my boss, she's like, I think her adult time was in like the 70s and 80s, so she's not quite elder, but she's not really like young either. Shoot, did I just use the wrong one? No, I didn't. Okay. But she like she's kind of spacey too. She like called me in her office one time asking for help translating English to Anishinaabe for something, and I was like, I don't know. She's like, I thought all you kids were fluent. I'm like, what? No. On my res, our generation is like the least fluent generation there is. I swear, the millennials are so like, on my res specifically, I mean, the millennials, I feel like we are the most out of touch with our culture as all the generations on our res. And I don't mean, I'm not like comparing trauma or anything. Like, I'm not saying that millennials like have it worse than the family members who went to boarding school or whatever. Absolutely not what I'm saying. I'm not like comparing what's worse or whatever. I'm saying out of touch. That comparison comes from like, they were still fishing for their food. And like, I don't know, what's just like the small everyday things that you think of when it comes to culture, they were doing that. And over time, it just kind of started being less and less. And then the millennials get here, and we're not being taught that. And there's like no programming for us. Like back in the day, my res was just kind of desolate in that area, I mean. And then as time went on, programs started coming into the res, and some of those programs, they were largely being geared towards kids, and they started teaching culture. And now there's language being taught in the schools, and just culture. So I'm so thankful for that, because I swear my children know more the language than I do. Facts. I learned Spanish in high school to connect to my Belizean, I think that's how you say it, Belizean side. And that in turn helped me learn some Belizean Creole. Both those languages are way easier than Ojibwe. So many verbs. Yeah, it's that whole noun-based thing and how you conjunct things. And the fact that it's descriptive. So I'm like, I guess technically some things can just have multiple names. Like, the best way I know how to describe this to... I've described this to my non-native friends before. I'm like, Ojibwe is like... For English, you say the word cup, but in Ojibwe, you're saying, this is the hollow object that I carry drinking fluid in that nourishes my body or something, So I'm like, it's so hard to know how to speak that way when you're so used to speaking rotten English. And no, I don't really know if that's how we refer to cups. That's just me making a metaphor. Like, okay. What I do know is that the word for sleep, it doesn't, and I can't even remember how to say it right now, by the way. I know bed is nabagan, so I think that sleep might be kind of close to that. But I do know that sleep does not translate to like the action of sleeping, like you lay down, close your eyes, and your body shuts down and you sleep. In Anishinaabe, it's I believe it translates roughly to like when your spirit goes to wander. Yes, animate versus inanimate. An elder in my community really blew my mind one time when she was talking about the animate versus inanimate, because initially when you hear that, you think like alive with a spirit versus unalive. Well, no, that's what animate and inanimate is. What am I trying to say? Like you think of person or animal versus not person or animal. And she was like, no, technically, like your car is animate. It moves on its own. And we don't think of our cars being, animal or person. But yes, they move on their own, so they are animate. She's actually really cute, though, because that same conversation that we were having, she did refer to her car as being alive, though. And she said that every time she gets a new car, which is surprisingly often, let me say, this little elder, she really likes to exchange her wheels from time to time. But, She says that she says goodbye to her car every time. She like says a little prayer to it and tells its spirit to, you know, I'm gonna go now. You have a good life. I just thought that was really interesting. Alright, my string is all the way down here when I have to go up here. But it's fine. How many petals have I done so far? I don't even know. I should have taken a before shot. Especially so I can show the Twitter account that I'm hosting right now. The bread and the car thing threw me off when I was relearning the language. Also, that's cute. Her pony, eh? Yeah, several ponies. Every time I see her, she's in a new pony. But yeah, I'm hosting an account on Twitter. It's called Indigenous Beads. That's the @ and I don't know. I've hosted it before. I think this is my 3rd or 4th time hosting it. I've lost count. But I will be honest, I have been a little more inactive with it this time than I have in previous times that I've hosted. But inactive in a way that I mean like I'm showing less of my work than I have in the past. In the past, I really went on day to day, you know, these are things I've made or these are things I'm currently making, whatever. I'm doing less of that. I am showing a little bit of what I've been making, but I've been mostly retweeting things. So if you're interested in seeing other people's beadwork or seeing like what's for sale and stuff, especially with all the Valentine's Day beading that's out right now, Indigenous Beads is a good place to go to see retweets of people who are selling. And if you're on Twitter and you want me to retweet something, send it to me or at me. Specifically the Chelsea Giza's account though, because the platform that I access Indigenous Beads on is not like regular Twitter. I don't see the notifications or the DMs for Indigenous Beads. I just get to tweet from it. That's all. So if you want something on there, you have to send it to my personal account. I can't remember how many followers it has now. It's got a good amount. For some reason, like 14K is coming at the top of my head. Which is a pretty decent number for getting your work out there. It's more of finding the confidence to get out there and dance for the first time. Oh boy. How do I give advice for this? When it comes to things of like confidence, I've always kind of naturally been a I don't give a shit kind of person. I mean, I have the sides of my head shaved and stuff. So yeah, I just kind of like naturally have that. But what I've heard most people say, and it sounds like bad advice, but I promise you, it's the way to do it. Is to simply just get out there. To just go for it. And if you have anybody in your life, like a grandparent or an auntie or an uncle, somebody that might be proud of you for dancing, it's nice. It would probably be nice to like talk with them about it before the next event where you could dance at, and tell them, you know, I'm going to be dancing and yada yada. And maybe having sort of their sentiment attached to it will sort of motivate you to grow a connection with that and not be so scared to get out there. Because I know that some people are scared. And I've talked with, I have a few cousins who, they're like teenagers now. Oh gosh, how old is he? I think he's like 16 or 17 now. But they're also autistic. They're on the spectrum. So they never danced as children, but they're interested in dancing now, and something that's sort of setting them behind. Well, not only is it taking time for their parents to get their regalia constructed, but they're scared, and they've told me this. They're like, I'm nervous to get out there. And I feel like what may have helped them, they're not out there yet. They still have to make their regalia and stuff. But I did notice sort of a change in them at the last powwow we were at, when they went out in intertribal in just their regular clothes and didn't like dance hard, but just kind of like lightly danced. You know that light dance where you just kind of like tap your feet one by one, like tap tap, move to the other foot, tap tap. So that might help too, is if you can, I know that powwows probably aren't really happening right now, but if you can attend a powwow and not be in your regalia, not be, I guess, like be blending in a little, and you can go out there and blend in and get some dancing out of the way like that, that might help you be more confident in putting on your regalia eventually. Because when you're in regalia, you're obviously going to be noticed. So if you're in your regular clothes, you might blend in and kind of familiarize yourself with that feeling of being out in the arena. Let's see, I've been dancing since I could walk, and I still get jitters. Just do it. Dance for the ones who can't dance, or for a family member. That's what my mom says anyway. Yes, I've always heard that, and I've always been told that too, is that when you're out there, among all the different feelings and thoughts that you may carry when you're out there dancing, something that should always be kind of like in the back is that you should consider the ones who cannot be out there dancing. But yeah, I feel like that really helped my cousin when he could just go out there and be in his regular clothes and blend in with everybody that's out there and just do that tap 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 tap. He ended up kind of, I could sense a change in his attitude where he was not experimenting anymore. He was just genuinely enjoying himself. And that may have prepared him. I think the only time I ever get nervous when it comes to getting out there to dance is like at competition powwows. And I don't even have to be competing for that. Obviously, if you're competing, you might be nervous because you're like, oh my god, I want to win, I want to do good, I want to do well. But it isn't even just about that. It's also kind of like, damn, these people have some nice regalias. Because they're competition dancers, so they really put a lot into their regalias. I've heard of some people having like $10,000 regalias, just putting so much into them. They're beautiful regalias, and they're also really beautiful dancers, and I'm like, I can't compare to that. I just had to kind of have a talk with myself once I start to feel those feelings, because they do come every now and then. I do kind of end up having feelings of like questioning myself. Like, you're not as good as these girls. Why are you even registered as a competitor? Your regalia isn't as detailed and well constructed as these other girls. Why are you doing this? And you just kind of just, I just stopped myself, and I remember that that's not the point. That's not why any of us are here. And I'm going to be honest, it's not always that I guess people have a good attitude for lack of better words. Sometimes there are people in the powwow circle that are wrongfully just judgy when it comes to dancing and regalia. I've seen it. But most of the time, I'd say like 8 times out of 10, they are the sweetest people I could ever meet. So I'm like, what am I scared of? Why am I comparing? There's no need. We're all here for a reason, and even if there's like competition involved or whatever, and we have to line up at the end, bottom line is I need to put the real reason that I'm out here dancing first. Which, whew, I'm really gonna have to give myself those talks this summer if I don't start getting out on that treadmill soon. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if I was called to dance for something right now, oh boy. I'd get through half the song and I'd be like, I'm dying. Alright, I know I said I'd go to 9:30, but this is what beadworkers do, is when we get to a point where we're like, I need to stop, we do this thing where we're like, one more line, one more this, one more that. I'm gonna fill in this last pedal here, and then I'll be done. Which I just looked to see where I ended, and I don't remember. Here it is. I guess I just got sidetracked on talking about dancing and powwows, which is understandable because I love them both. And I was what some would consider kind of a late dancer too. I started dancing when I was 11. I still have my original regalia. I was a fancy shaller, and then when I was 15, I switched to jingle, and then I went a while without dancing at all. I'm talking like, I think I went like 7 years without putting a regalia on at all. And then I decided I wanted to start dancing again, so I put on my jingle dress and I barely fit it. It was made when I was a teenager and I was in my late 20s. And not only did I not fit it, I think I talked about this in the video where I show off my regalia, but not only did I not fit it, but I just felt like it didn't represent me as a grown woman anymore. I felt like it represented me more as a teenager. So I made a new one. And then when I had finally completed my entire regalia, the plague hit and the entire world shut down. And then in early 2021, I had a dream where I was dancing fancy shawl. And so I spoke with my traditional medicine guy about it, and he believes that I should be dancing both jingle and fancy shawl. So I guess I save jingle for when there are calls for like healing dances. And then I dance fancy shawl at like powwows and stuff. I gotta start conditioning too. I tried a sidestep the other week and it made it to the second push-up before the calves started cramping. I know that feeling all too well. You're welcome, Allie. That's no problem. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, it depends. I feel like sometimes I find the side steps so difficult like that. Like they'll hurt my calves and I'm like dying halfway through the song. We still have another half to go. And I feel like everybody's just watching me like struggle. And then like when I have those feelings, I'm just like I rock it for a straight dance song. Like I just dance bomb for those. And then other times I feel like I'm rocking it for the side step. Like it's so easy. I'm so limber. My calves are great. It's really fun. I'm putting a lot of spirit and healing into it. But then later that day I'll go to straight dance and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't ever have it both ways. But I will say that I am having a great time. Or I did have, when it was powwow season and I was dancing this past summer, I had a great time bringing fancy back, let me tell you. I missed a good crow hop. Crow hop in fancy shawl is so fun. That's my favorite, actually. I'm pretty out of all of the fancy shawl and the jingle dress dancing, all the different dance styles, crow hop is definitely my favorite. And one type of dance that I feel like I need to practice more, and maybe it's just because it doesn't get called into the arena very often in my area anyway, is the two-step. Let's see. No, I'm not gonna do another one there. All right, I'm gonna push this through where I want to leave it off. I think we got, I think we did these 4. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. I think we did these 4. Starting with this one, we did 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is a good amount of beading in just an hour and a half. Well, hour and 42 minutes. But yeah, this is the progress so far. I gotta finish this up. And I have another one that I'm doing. These are gonna be 2 furs, I'm calling them. They're gonna be brooches and also earrings. I'm gonna put brooch clips on the back and earring hooks. And when they're being worn as brooches, the hooks will just hang behind, hopefully not visible. And they are a replica of something to be worn in addition to, like as an accessory to a bigger project that you will see on my channel soon. So I hope you had, I don't know if we had fun. I had fun, but I don't know if y'all had fun. I don't know if, I feel like I'm a pretty boring person, but you're here watching anyways. Anyway, I hope to go live again sometime this week. What's today? Monday? I don't think I'm going to go live tomorrow, but maybe Wednesday or Thursday I will go live. I'll see. But I do know that I want to squeeze in another one sometime this week. So, yeah, I'm going to go play some Resident Evil. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you again another time later this week, I guess. But I'm